Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Between Realities. My name is Alex. I am joined here by my co-host, Skiba. Skiba, what's up, dude?
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Great. We were just talking right before we went live. This has been such a chill, relaxed going into the show for us today.
Yep.
Between technical difficulties was last week and this week, we're just chilling.
Smooth.
Cruising. We are so excited to have you guys here with us. What's up to everybody in the chat? Lissa, thanks for being here. German Rifter, Mr. Trinidad, who I hope is sparking it up just about now. Aspen Darkfire in the house. How's it going, brother? Glitch Fandango, the man, dude. Glitch Fandango going back through the Between Realities catalog, watching all the episodes and leaving feedback on all of them. Dude, thank you.
Thanks, Glitch. You're the man.
So fucking awesome. And you guys, if you haven't seen any of the past episodes, follow this guy's example, because with all of our guests every week, we have really awesome, exciting new perspectives on the conversations that we sometimes have regularly.
Go ahead and subscribe, because we talk to a lot of awesome people, and the only way you're gonna know about this every week is subscribing. Click on that little bell button.
Yep, absolutely.
Maybe give us a like while you're down there.
You will do all of those things now. Thank you. Lix Nix is here as well. How's it going? Gamertag VR. We are such huge fans of GT. How's it going, brother? Thank you for being here as well. Waiting in the wings, someone who has managed to drop into our chat already. This is a guy who's known for his work with the VR Master League and with Phaser Lock Interactive, who make Final Assault, the VR RTS game. It's really awesome. He is super hardworking, driven, passionate dude in the community, and I'm so excited to have him on the show. Please welcome Brad Sl33py Atkins to Between Realities. How you doing, man?
Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for having me today.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, looking forward to talking to you.
This is going to be great, dude. You know, we've had the opportunity to cross paths within, our doings in our virtual reality community. And one of the things that has always really stood out to me is how freaking professional you are, dude. The punctuation on every message is perfect, and it's clean, and you say all the right things, and you're communicative, and you are ahead of the ball every time, and you are a true fucking professional, man. So thanks for bringing that to our community, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't even really know what to say about it. It's just kind of who I am. I usually try and have a lot of different things going on at once, and trying to keep them all organized is crazy. But I don't know. I just feel taking that extra effort to put in a little punctuation here and there and really show people that you're taking the time to write them this message goes a long way, especially in our small community. And when you're reaching out to these oftentimes very small indie or solo developers, and even to the community members, that little bit of personalization helps. And as far as, the things that I say, this is all stuff that I feel. So it's easy to say these things because this is how I feel about our industry, about our communities, about what's going on. And, oftentimes you see my Twitter is more of an echo chamber for other people than it really is talking about things that I'm doing, because most of the stuff I'm doing is team stuff, and I'm working behind the scenes on a lot of things nowadays. So, I'd rather build other people up and continue to have other people grow and continue to build our industry up as a whole, rather than just, try and lift one person up.
Well, we appreciate you for that, man. And, folks like you are needed, like you mentioned, the VR community is small, right? And the development, or the studios, the developers, they're small, and it's all kind of small. And I think everyone knows that, but someone needs to start taking the shit seriously, right? And acting like this shit is professional and that we're not fucking around, and that's where you come in for me. When Sleepy's a part of it, no one's fucking around anymore. This is a professional event. Well, no joking around. Be on time. Let's get this done, kind of situation, And I really admire that and appreciate that.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. Fun is still a very basic part of everything that we do. But yes, we just find that when things aren't organized, when you don't know what's going on, when you don't know where to be and what time and where to go and who you're talking to and stuff like that, it becomes not fun. And even the most fun game and the most what could be fun tournament could turn into the biggest headache of your life because of deck issues or things like that. So
yeah, people have no idea what it really takes to successfully organize some of these games, to get all of these people that are playing from all different parts of the world through all different time zones, get them at the same place
time zones
at the same time to, you know, to participate in these events. And if people don't show up, it screws the whole thing up. It's a serious thing, man. It takes a lot of organization skills. It takes a lot of, you know, project management. It's not easy. And props to you. You know, I organized that grapple tournament and got a big taste of what that was like.
Yeah, I saw that going on, and I was like, "Oh boy, I wonder if old Skiva knows what he's gotten himself into with that one." But yeah, no, it was great. I watched that; it was excellent execution. So, congrats to you on that. And you know, as much as I would love to take credit for all the professionalism and organization of both VRML events and other events, again, everything that I do is always a part of a team. Like, there's always so much more going on than just what I'm doing. You know, with the VRML, we've got Dakinman and Nightfire and Noman and Palador at the helm, as well as, you know, a slew of governing mods and moderators within each community. You've got your casters within each community. And then now we're, you know, branching out and looking into building content creation teams within those communities and really trying to help highlight and spotlight the people that are here again within our communities and wanting to make a name for themselves and show their own side, their own creative spirit, their own ideas and things like that. And you know, a lot of what I have comes from the support and knowledge from people within this community. You know, Kier and Poonanners over at V Respawn, Vivian also over there was a big supporter of me initially. A lot of the members of the Onward community were part of the reason why I even began casting in the first place. So if it wasn't for this community, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. And I wouldn't continue to do it. Yeah, it really is.
Amazing people in this.
Amazing people like Onikaze, who's here in the chat, who shows up every single week. It's great to see you, man. Kenny Farron's in the house saying Sleepy's the best. And Michael Dauber, who is also from Phaser Lock, right, says they're still frozen in Austin. So Phaser Lock is the company that makes Final Assault, which is RTS. And you guys are based in Austin. So you were mentioning before the show that, that shit is kind of rough down there, right? I mean, we all know shit's rough right there in Texas, but how is it affecting you guys at Phaser Lock?
Yeah, it's been tough. I mean, for myself, I'm part of our West Coast division, if you will, because I'm out here in Los Angeles. I'm a remote employee. But the rest of the team is based locally there in Austin in Texas. And of course, as a lot of you know, this week has been really brutal on them with this unprecedented winter storm that hit them. So a lot of them have been without power pretty much all week, many dealing with a lot of the side effects of that, pipes bursting, things of that nature. And so it's been really tough. And I've been, you know, just torn up about it because I'm all the way out here. I want to help. What can I do? But I can't. So it's been interesting, but I've been really kind of hit. Been hit a little hard just watching my team kind of have to tough it out this week in tents and boiling water and shit like that. And it's just it hurts to watch your team, watch your colleagues have to go through that.
Right. Well, at least they've got you there online, plugged in, correspondent. You know, like if you were also in Texas, that's one less man that's out there on the front lines while they're all struggling to get back online. So I'm looking for a silver lining here.
Yeah. Did we really tell the audience what VRML is? I mean, I guess we all assume.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Yeah. You know, because we're, you know, competing tournaments and shit, right? Like, hey, what's up, Mepper? I just saw you slide in. And Lyriel, thanks for being here as well.
Danny Huntley, how's it going?
Oh, Danny, I didn't even, it's because these got the mod, man. That mod. By the way, we need probably another mod or two.
Yeah.
So if you're one of the people who comes in every week and you're interested in maybe being a mod and like allowing the comments that have swear words and stuff like that, hit us up because we could probably use one or two more.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to get to before we got to VRML was the tournament that we were in for Final Assault.
Oh yeah,
that Sleepy put together, and that was extremely fun, dude. Like that was a great time, and another game that I got, you know, that I had to play up against Silfox in, typically.
Yeah.
But anyway, that Final Assault tournament was awesome, man, and like I think, you know, that was like a good demonstration of how to properly execute an event like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, you know, it was that one was a really easy one to do. Well, I say it was really easy, but the number of times I probably cried watching stack up ad reels while I was planning the show out is ridiculous. because that cause hits really close to home for me. So putting together that event and enlisting, the likes of yourselves and other folks from around the industry and other influencers and content creators like GT out here in the audience, to help us raise money for veterans who often feel disconnected even in the best of times. So, we're all dealing with this self-isolation and self-quarantine right now. And that can hit hard for a lot of folks, but especially hard for those who are already facing some mental challenges due to what they're going through. So it was a great job, and we raised $2,500 for Stack Up. We recently got word that we'll be sending out a supply crate of gaming devices and other paraphernalia to a unit that's stationed downrange. So we're hoping to hear back and see some pictures back from that group soon. And yeah, it was really great. It was really fun. I'm glad you guys all had a great time because, again, for me as a tournament organizer or anyone involved in esports, that's what matters most, is that people had a good time and that everything was, competitively fair and balanced.
Well, I'll tell you, I know I had a blast. And, even though I got absolutely destroyed, which, that's kind of my thing. You know what I mean? I'm really good at getting destroyed. But just, the fact that we were able to play a game with our friends, have fun, and now things are going overseas to the troops to help. Like, how much more awesome can that get, right? We played video games and we're helping the soldiers. What the fuck? It's 2021.
Andy, Obscure Nerd VR, thanks for dropping in, dude. Tones My Bones is here as well.
What's
He's
up, guys?
a great fan of ours. Thanks for being a part of this. I personally am not someone who loves military stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not really a fan of war, and all of this shit. And I actually had a moment of reflection during that tournament where we were playing a game, right? But that game emulates war. But then we raised money to send to people who aren't playing a fucking game,
that are in war.
That are in war, right? There was something that clicked in that moment for me. I was like, damn, dude, I'm just playing a fucking game, right? But there's some people this whole thing ain't no fucking game, ships, guns, bullets, explosions, this shit's fucking real. And I've had some friends who have joined the military. There was a close friend of mine who joined the Marines, and I remember him talking to me about joining, and I was like, dude, don't do that. Are you crazy? You don't want to go over there and do all that shit, but he was like, I'm going, and this is a kid who we bonded over our love of gaming. Yeah. So now doing something like this with Stack Up and with Phaser Lock, I almost kind of felt like I was helping send a PlayStation over to my buddy who joined, even though I told him that he shouldn't. You know what I mean? And for me, that is so awesome. I don't feel like I'm supporting a war machine or anything. I feel like I'm giving games to homies who need it. Those guys are all just homies who wish they still had their fucking systems and shit from back home. And it really does. It is awesome, dude. And it really did give me a great feeling about all of it. It gave me perspective about war and what it maybe means to be in the fucking military and all of it, dude. And it's all thanks to the event.
Yeah, thanks. That was amazing. It was
well,
really
I'm glad,
good stuff.
I mean, that's really great to hear. I'm glad, that the event was able to do more, than just what it was for, which was raising money. I'm glad you were able to take something else out of it and see a side of things that maybe you weren't willing to look at before. So, or see before. So that's awesome, man. Cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And, another thing that we were talking about before the show was casting, right? You just mentioned how you're a caster, and we'll start to get into some of what the VRML is. Why don't you, before we talk about casting and specifically, just give people who maybe aren't familiar with VRML, just kind of the elevator pitch as to what you guys are doing?
Sure, absolutely. So the VRML, or the VR Master League, is a VR community-based esports league. We were built by the community, by just a few members of the Onward community back at the end of 2016. Ever since then, we just started banding together and building something, and what eventually grew out of it was a league. And then we just kind of, as things kept going, we started expanding that into other games. And so now what it's turned into is a community-built, community-driven league that's looking to basically grow itself into becoming, the ESL, the MLG, the Rainbow Six League of ER esports. I mean, we feel like this is the next wave of esports entertainment, and I think a lot of people out there will agree. And in time, once we have all the technology that's really there to support the vision, watching players on a live stage physically engaging in the game that they're playing rather than sitting behind a bank of monitors while you're watching them play above, is going to be an entirely different experience. Or being able to watch the games, the championship games from your home in your headset in the stadium surrounding the game. That's what we envision. That's the kind of stuff that we see. That's the future of esports. And to me, that's so much more entertaining than, like I said, sitting and watching a people playing behind a bank of monitors. And this, not to discount what they're doing. You know, I've said this a bunch in any of the interviews or anything I've talked about, like the skills that it takes for those people to be professionals in their esports in the 2D world. It's not to be dismissed. Like that stuff all takes talent, right? Like I suck at Counter-Strike. You're not going to see me going in and my skills from Onward or a VR game translating into Counter-Strike prowess. Not at all. I'm terrible at mouse and keyboard games. But, you know, you put me in a VR game and I can acclimate pretty quickly. I just think like this is the future of esports. We're getting behind it. We want to be on the tip of the spear. And we want the community to help us build it, help tell us what's wrong with it. If it's wrong, help fix it, help mold it into what it needs to be. So that way, when it does become that official standard, it's solidified, it's solid, it's concrete.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think esports is pretty awesome. I think some of these people are so incredibly talented, right? But we watch esports as they are now, and people go, well, how is this really a sport? It's some dude with a mouse and keyboard clicking, right? But you get virtual reality esports. Now you have people aiming down the sights of guns. You got people dropping on the floor prone, ducking and weaving and dodging things. And it actually takes some physical, takes a lot of your energy. You actually have to really break a sweat. So we're really getting to a point now where like esports is really esports.
Truly.
You know what I mean? Truly esports. And you got people like Sleepy that are casting over these games and making it feel like an ESPN experience, if you will,
100%,
while playing games.
100%.
I mean, if you guys haven't seen any of this, like with Onward, for example, they have a free camera that they're able to manipulate through the worlds. And not just be stuck on one person's view, although they can switch to whoever's view that they want, but they can fly around, they can see exactly what's happening from any angle that they want. They can see, the line of sight of where people are pointing, they can see the names above everyone's heads, and man, they just go at it the whole time. They cast the game, and it is incredible. It's one of my favorite things to watch. I really, really enjoy it.
Sir Dimwee snuck into the chat. How's it going, Dimwee? Thanks for being here. And sadly, it's Bradley giving it up to another Brad, saying this Brad is a champion. So thanks to both of our Brads here. Sadly, Bradley was on our show earlier this season. And if you didn't catch that episode,
check it out.
Do it during the week.
What's up, man?
Dark Angel is here as well.
Nice. How you doing?
What's up, Dark Angel?
Nice.
So the shirt that I'm wearing right now is from my official VRML event that I got to take part of, and so did Skiva, which was the Cyber Shoes Onward Championship. And that was
for Gamescom 2020, I believe.
That was one of the most fun things I have ever done. And it was awesome, great event. Everybody's running around with cyber shoes. It was super fun. I got this dope ass t-shirt with the VRML logo on it, which I will.
It's a jersey, bruh.
Yeah, you're right.
It's
it is
not
a jersey.
t-shirt.
I fucked up.
Yeah.
It's a jersey. It is legit. It's like moisture wicking. Like this thing feels really nice. But I streamed it. We all streamed it. The people who were playing it. And then afterwards, I went and watched the VRML broadcast of it, and it was like amazing to
Blew your
see,
mind, didn't it?
because I'm not a professional Onward player, so I don't know everyone in that community, but like knowing all of the people that were in that video added so much like drama to everything, and then it comes down to the casting. And now I'm excited to get to this, because casting is something that I don't think people understand how much it takes to be able to do that. Like, you need to be so many things. You need to be fast. You need to be intelligent. You need to have a deep vocabulary. You need to have
wit. You gotta be super witty.
Super witty. You have to know every fucking thing about that game.
You gotta know that game inside and out.
Inside and out. Because oftentimes when you're watching a competitive thing, in especially VR, you need some context. Like you just see a bunch of things bouncing into each other. It's like really hard to know like where the dramatics are happening and like what's actually important. And one of the things that you guys do so well is give all of that context to the situations and like let people know like, hey, he's approaching this corner right now and this is a big fucking thing because if he gets dropped, then they can move, you know, and like it gives so much more to the experience than just watching a live stream. Because if you're just watching a live stream, you're just watching everything unfold. You're like, okay, yeah, whatever. This is cool. Maybe you're getting some of the streamers. Why do I care? Exactly. Casters make you care. A good caster makes you care. And everything I've seen at the VRML has just been fucking like
absolutely amazing.
So
Professional all the way. Seriously, like an ESPN event.
Seriously.
With the games that you love.
And like the stinger, you know, like a stinger that swings by and shit. Like it is
it is
so
legit.
Dope.
Very
so
legit.
Dope.
If you haven't checked this out, please go to VRML's Twitch channel and check out some of their broadcasts. I know you guys have a YouTube channel too, but you mostly focus on the Twitch stuff, right?
Yeah, Twitch is just where all the live stuff happens. We save all the VODs of everything that goes down on any of the YouTube channels as well, so you can always go back and watch pretty much any event that's ever happened in VRML history since we've started casting. And I mean, all of that is due to, again, the team. Noman for helping us build this new production deck, which, you know, you guys saw in the Cyber Shoes event and is featured in our Onward series. And, you know, Palador from the Echo community has taken that same broadcasting deck and built it into his own and made it into what you see on the Echo streams now. I mean, we really just kind of give you the keys. Like we've got this platform and service of things where we want to bring you into it. We want your volunteers. We want your passionate community members to come in and say, we want to take the reins here. We want to drive this boat. And then we give them the keys and the tools and say, okay, here's what we recommend, but we're going to leave it up to you. And we'll be here if we need to pull the plug on anything that's going to cause, you know, some crazy drama or something like that. But otherwise, we're here to give the communities the tools to build themselves leagues and tournaments and ways to engage themselves and encourage more players and more play time. So it's really more than just about growing us. It's about growing the abilities of those around us and helping, you know, the casting team. All of us are amateurs. We all are volunteers. We all came from the community, most of us with zero experience. I came in with zero experience. I just like to talk and I liked Onward. So I knew what I was talking about, and that translated well into casting. Thanks to that, I got the ability to work with, professional casters from ESL and have the ability to go to different events and work with them in a live studio setting and get that experience as well, which has helped me pass that along to the rest of the team and give them ways to improve and things to think about. But at the same time, like, you have to realize, you know, look at what it is you're doing. Go back and watch yourself. Think, you know, analyze yourself from an outside point of view and say, what am I doing that's annoying? What might be annoying an audience? Am I humming and hawing too much? Am I liking, you know, is this like, you know, this thing like that I do like all the time? Like, you know, these are things that you should think about. Is there a word that I'm overusing? Am I saying absolutely or, you know, tremendous too much? Am I overusing that word? These are things you can go back and look at. I mean, if at one point I sat back and I said, I'm going to take myself out of the main host and stick to co-casting for a while to more of an analytical side of the desk so that I can work on focusing on what's happening in the game and then giving a better analysis to the viewers to what it is rather than just calling the action, because calling the action can be easy. You're literally just spouting out. You're just waterfalling what's happening on screen. It's the guy doing the analyst work that has to take that and make the connection with the audience.
Right.
And I think that's where I found my niche more so than the action. Now I can call your action too, but I tend to lean more into the analytical side than I do to the hot shots calling.
Mothership VR just snuck in. Thanks for joining us here, Mothership VR, on your lunch break. Pleasure to have you. I would actually just share this with Skiva right before the show as well. We try not to talk too much before the show, but like the few things we mentioned today were all relevant. It's actually something I haven't shared with our audience yet, but I think the first thing I ever did, like sitting in front of a camera in an effort to like put myself in this space, was before VR happened, and it was an audition tape to be a caster for the MOBA Smite. You ever heard of Smite, Sleepy?
Yeah, absolutely.
I played the fuck out of Smite. And they did, like, you know, be a caster, right? And I was like, okay, there can't be too many people doing this. And not only that, I feel like I can do that, you know, like I could get on there, boom, like I know the game, like let's go. And I recorded a tape. I was like, hey guys, how's it going? You absolutely need me. So hit me up, that kind of thing. And they were like, okay, well, send us in a tape of you casting. So I like grabbed a match off of YouTube and sat down and tried to cast it a couple times. And holy shit, like it is so much more. Like, I think that you really do. Some people are like naturally inclined to be able to fill a position like that. You know what I mean? Like even me with the gift of gab thinking that I'd be able to go in there and fucking crush it. Not the case. Like you need to be operating on another level. So I guess what I'm trying to do right now is like give you a little bit of like, not everyone can do this kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like practice, sure, train, sure. But like, I think it takes somebody with a very particular set of skills to be a good fucking caster for games or even for, sports or anything, any kind of commentator.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but I don't think that it's not something that everyone can do as long as they're willing to put in some work to work at it. Sure, there is going to be natural inclination, but just like anything else, you could literally set your mind to do anything that you want. I mean, I didn't have any idea that I wanted to be a caster or do this or anything like that, and then I started doing it. And I was like, God, I actually enjoy this, and that pushed me to want to put in some extra time and spend some time going over footage and how can I be better and how can we make our broadcasts better for the viewer. And it spitballs from there, especially if it's something that you find that you're really passionate about. I think it comes easy to want to just put in the hours. I mean, my name is Sleepy, and it's not really ironic. I'm quite sleepy quite often because I'm up all hours of the day and night doing something, whether it's working and doing what I need to do for my job with Facial Lock, or whether it's, doing stuff for VRML and trying to be available to anybody who needs help with things or has questions. It's a nonstop job, but it's something I love doing and something I thank God that my partner appreciates not killing me over.
Right. Yeah, that's huge, dude. You need someone that like supports you. Like if you're going to be with someone, they need to actually support you, not just say they do, like actually support.
Yeah.
Aspen Darkfire in the chat brought up the Echo Arena Rookie Cup. Said the Echo Arena Rookie Cup was a lot of fun, and he was on the winning team. What the fuck? Really? I didn't know that. That's amazing. You weren't. Okay, I thought you were looking at me like you were on the winning team.
No. I did. Yeah, that would have been sweet. I love that game.
That was awesome. The Rookie Cup was awesome. And, I might have been like slightly salty about like a level 45 that was on the team that beat me. You know what I mean? Which happened because they signed up as like a pre-level 20. But by the time the tournament came, they grinded to like 45. So I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And of course, we got shredded. Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was awesome as well, Aspen Darkfire. And I think it's good to have events like that encourage people who are not pros or not aspiring pros to participate in these types of events, because it's so much more fun when it's for something for me.
Yeah.
And when it's organized and when like, okay, our match is coming up, like you get excited. Like there's a level that you just can't get to playing casually that you do get to oftentimes in these organized events, which is why I say yes to pretty much any event that I get invited to, because they're always so much fun. I think it would be great to see more stuff like that, more like rookie events, where like, they're encouraging new players to participate in it and they can kind of get a taste of what it might be like to be on a team and to live that life. Because once you get there, I think to some of the points you were making, Sleepy, it kind of becomes a lifestyle. Like you just start to live and breathe it.
Yeah, it definitely can. And that is one of the good things about the VRML as well, is like our leagues are built with this kind of, you do with it what you want. Like if your team is very try hard and you have the available hours to put in all this extra time to train and practice and work on your skills and, develop that meta to be the number one team year after year after year, then that's great. Then VRML is here for you. And, we try and offer prize pools that are enticing enough to make players want to put in that time. But at the same time, if you're a Joe Schmo casual or Jane Schmo casual who likes to just play for fun and, they like the organized matches, but they don't necessarily care whether or not they take home the trophy and don't have the time to put in 30, 40 hours a week of practice, we're here for you too. Your team can pause during a season for weeks, if for a week or two, if you need to. Real life happens, just like right now with what's going on, the weather, the different things going on with epidemics and things going on. Like there's so many reasons why a person might not be able to participate in a week. And so the VRML tries to offer these types of solutions where, anyone can be there, they can jump in, they can jump out. But yes, these rookie tournaments have been a great way to encourage those who might feel like, even though it's very open environment, that they're not quite up to par yet for that skill level. So, we've been doing that with Onward. Echo's been getting them in as well. So yeah, more rookie, the more events that we can do to encourage and teach the newer community members or the newer members in that particular game, I think the better overall, because it'll just encourage and that spreads, that almost like I don't want to say this, but almost like a virus, it spreads. You teach someone how to enjoy this game and why they might be misunderstanding this game not being good, by showing them why they maybe are playing wrong, or maybe they're misunderstanding a mechanic or how something is supposed to work. Then all of a sudden they start enjoying it and they're like, wow, what I thought this game was really crap is really amazing. And I'm going to go share this with my friends. And then they tell their friends, and their friends have that same issue. They show them how to fix that, how to enjoy it, or how to properly enjoy it. And there it is again. It spreads out again. And, we just keep seeing that. So hopefully that continues.
So Echo is an incredible game.
Yeah.
And it was really, I feel like this game was built for esports. It was so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
If anyone who hasn't played this game, you really need to play it, and you really need to, it's a free game. Right. And, some of the stuff in the law, we were talking to Quick Cosplay today, and she went in and she tried this game. And unfortunately, she had some issues with some kids that were being pretty nasty and stuff. But there is now a moderated lobby, correct, which you can opt into. You can go into the moderated lobby. If anyone is toxic or crappy, they get booted out of there, which is great. I think more places need to follow suit with that. Because free games come with some crappiness sometimes. But this game is so good, and it really bothers me when people go in and then they get kind of poisoned, if you will, from the poison that's in the lobbies.
Yeah, and it is a shame.
It is, because this game is so freaking good. But so what do you see in the future as far as other games becoming esports titles? Do you see Population One? Do you see different types of games that might be up and coming in this esports?
Yeah,
scenario?
part of my duties now with the VRML, as I've been kind of stepping away from more of the day-to-day and one individual game and looking more organizationally, has been kind of keeping my eye out on that landscape for upcoming titles that I think are ready for esports as far as gameplay. There's definitely a few out there. Pop One is obviously on everyone's radar right now. It's a solid game. I was just in it yesterday myself, just to kind of check out the game again after a few updates, see what's going on, see if any of my, my little negative points that I had for it personally were fixed. And, it's feeling good. It's a great game. I love the team over at Big Box. Had a great relationship, started up with them even before the game launched through the VRML. So we're hoping that, we can get them to do some VRML stuff, but we're waiting on some things on their end to make sure that we can really provide a good experience for the player, private lobbies, spectating stuff, for example, just so we can really put out an excellent, showcasing of the game for them. Because that's another thing that kind of slips the mind of a lot of people, is we're also showcasing these games for these developers. And that's a part of our relationship with the VRML, is making sure that we keep this nice symbiotic relationship going with the developers, and we support them and, ensure that they support us. And Ready at Dawn and Downpour and many of the other developers have been great about doing that. A lot of them have even put up posters for us in their games. But yeah, there's a lot of games out there. I know Hyperdash is catching a lot of attention recently.
Thanks for saying that.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as as it's coming out of alpha beta soon. Been in that one for a while. I've been testing it through multiple stages of that game's development. I think that one's pretty solid. Grapple tournament, actually Skiva's tournament, was a big reason why I was able to kind of sign off on that one, but I hopped into it yesterday for myself for the first time and had a blast. So I actually wrote a message over to them just yesterday. Nice. But there's a lot of great stuff coming out, but there's something else that has to be said that I don't think some people are going to want to hear, and that's not every game is going to be an esports game. Mm-hmm. And I understand, you want to be able to utilize that aspect of marketing or something to your advantage to get the attention and to get hype driven. And that's great. And a lot of times you can still do singular events, but as far as something that maintains a competitive rhythm, not every game is built for that. You know, there are excellent examples. Echo Arena, you gave us an excellent example of a game that is built for esports, and you can tell everything is there that is needed. It has, you know, good cameras, it has good built-in game UI for the spectator mode. It's clean camera, you know, it's got everything it needs to function efficiently. So the other thing that games need is a solid community. And this is a mistake that the VRMLs made in the past. So it's not that we're infallible here either, but oftentimes we can get a little too aggressive when it comes to seeing a game's potential and then giving it a little bit too much attention too fast and it not quite doing as well as we anticipated. But there is also something to be said in that where small games deserve that support too. And if you really think that the game has that potential, then you stand by it. And so, you know, we recently added contractors to our umbrella of games this year. And it's a smaller community, but it's a very passionate community. It's a lot of real life paintball players who are coming in, or speedball players who are coming into this VR speedball game and are taking a loving to it and really diving in. And a lot of folks are convincing their friends, other speedball and paintball players who are unable to play a lot right now due to restrictions and, you know, lockdowns and things. And they're all getting in, they're all enjoying it. And the team, they're working with us, they're taking feedback, they're taking player feedback, all of that stuff is good. And I think with that kind of support and, you know, that is the kind of communities that succeed with a game that has potential. So not all games need to be an esport.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of potential, you know, like you mentioned just a moment ago, Grapple Tournament is probably my favorite competitive online multiplayer game. I mean, I really like when I was a kid, I grew up playing a lot of Unreal Tournament, Quake 3 Arena, stuff like that. And this game scratches every single one of those itches. I really feel like this game would be perfect for an esport. Now, you mentioned before that there is also the issue where you got to have a community behind it, right? And, you know, where this game suffers is its player base, unfortunately. But, you know, it's an early access, right? And it's only on PC right now. They are working on a Quest build, but oh my God, is this game so good? It's so good. And one of these days, man, if we can get, you know, the right tools in here to make this happen, I would watch this all day and all night. And I love this game. It's great to play and it's super fun to watch.
Mateo311 snuck into the chat and Future did as well.
What's up, guys?
YouTuber homies, thank you guys for being here. And I saw Outrun Digital also dropped in and put a nice, beautiful little heart. So thank you for dropping in. You know, I think it's important to mention that while the VRML and, you know, things like it are, you know, really like pushing things forward and like taking things to a level of professionalism and like, you know, like taking things seriously, like, I think that's all awesome. I think we need to, however, keep in mind that this is all still like, we're like in like baby years right now. Like this is just
like the Atari
beginning.
2600 years,
right? Like
VR.
Even stuff like these, you know, population problems or
population one
player. No, I shouldn't have said population. Like player population. Like you know, like keeping lobbies full and things like that. Anybody who plays any game that like allows you to be better than other people, if they get good at it, they're gonna feel like they have something to prove at that point. You know, like I've been watching some streams of this Gorilla Tag lately. Have you seen this?
It
looks really fun. It looks really fun, and everyone's having a really good time with it. And I saw somebody on Twitter, I think maybe jokingly say like, "Yo, if there's no VRML Gorilla Tag, that's, you know, I'm boycotting or something like that." You know? But you know, I think it's important to remind everyone, like kind of what you just said, like not every game is a good title for it. But we're all still in the infancy, and I can see this going the way that like almost like the speedrunning community goes, right? Where like everyone, like in every game, somebody's going to have something to prove. So they're going to look for the best way to prove that they're the best at that thing, however they can. And I feel like the VRML is like a great opportunity for people to start to do that. But as VR grows, as the communities grows, as the games get better, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw, you know, something similar to a speedrunning community where like every game has some form of, you know, proving grounds where you can be like, yeah, that's my high score. Yep. That's I won that tournament. Like I'm the best, you know. People, they got something to prove. People get good at this shit. They want to prove it.
That's actually a good point. Mentioning the high school thing is we're quickly building a community and an environment within the VR esports industry thanks to collaborative efforts and support from different organizations. I mean, you mentioned Outrun Digital here in the chat, just joining in their high school league. I think that's their initiative there to get that spun up. I know there's another high school league that I was made aware of as well that sprouted up, I think, towards the end of last year. But this is great because we're building this structure now for the years to come, right? Outrun and their team and the others like them are building the high school level of collegiate or of sports. Then you've got organizations like Maddie and her team at the CVRE, the Collegiate VR Sports group, who's got the college esports level locked down. And then you've got organizations like, the VRML and others like it, virtual athletics leagues, other leagues out there, that hit on the open/professional level that you could go to after college or after that collegiate level. So I think what we're doing a great thing by working together with these different organizations rather than trying to cut up the pie into all these different sections right now, because let's face it, and exactly, it's very similar to the kind of the VR dev side of this as well. It's like we're at a point in the industry where we should still be sharing tips and tricks and supporting each other and answering each other's questions rather than trying to keep everything a special shop secret or a special, personal secret, et cetera, et cetera. Now, that might not apply for players and their strategies and things like that, because you want to keep your gold strategy as your number one strategy as yourself. But when it comes to things like what you're doing, some things that you could do to suggest to another organization who isn't competitive to you, isn't in any way going to be threatening what it is that you're doing. So why not give them the support? Why not throw them some tips? Why not throw them an introduction email or a connection, or help them do something, cast an event for them, run a specific aspect, just do what it is that they ask of you. I feel like it's so much these days, especially right now. It's like everyone wanting, this is my section of the industry. This is my section of the market. Like we're still too small for that. We've seen great growth in recent years and in recent months, and all thanks to various headsets making their way to the market. But we're still not there. We're not Xbox level. We're not PlayStation level users. We're not PlayStation level players. We need to stop with this is mine, you can't have it. Like the walled gardens shit's got to stop. We got to support each other to an extent. I mean, yes, there are going to be things you want to keep secret. You're going to make breakthroughs that you're going to want to hold to yourself for a bit, at least until maybe you put out your next game that has this really awesome thing in it, right? You're not just going to openly talk about that before you launch it, but after it's done, take for example, the guy who did the liquid shader for Half-Life Alyx.
Mm-hmm.
He did it. The game launched, but then he shared that with the community. He was like, this is what I did. This is how I did it. And then now you see the Compound developer adding that in a kind of 8-bit pixelated version within his game. And so that's just really cool to see when folks share that sort of stuff, because it allows us all to grow together.
Wow, Compound. I haven't heard that one in a little bit. That's a really cool, like 8-bit kind of retro game in VR. That's really cool.
I've never played it.
Yeah, it's super
very neat. Doom vibes, like Doom 3 vibes.
Doom and like Wolfenstein 3D vibes. Yeah, really good stuff. No, that's super awesome, man. I agree with you. It's a very small pie right now. It's a really hard thing to chop up a very small pool of people into little teeny tiny sections. We are at the Atari 2600 phase of this, and as we bump up to the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and get all the way up to the, the Xbox and PlayStation base, it's going to take some time, and we got to help each other to grow up, to that point and beyond that. I think so.
It's going to be really awesome. Yeah. I'm really stoked to like be a part of this and to be able to see how everything's going to unfold. Because like in like normal esports, I say normal, I guess I mean non VR esports. Like a League of Legends team, like that's what they play. They fucking play League of Legends and nothing else, I've noticed that in VR, a lot of our VR athletes, people like Pesky Cashew, they just fucking cruise from game to game to game to game to game. Like VR is like the thing, and I can see how in the future, as more titles come out that are more captivating and more satisfying and fulfilling, then people will like kind of start to like find their homes a little bit, as the community grows, and we'll probably start to see more established leagues and tournaments, because people will like set themselves up and they're like, yeah, I'm a pro Onward player, period.
Mhm.
Which I know there are plenty of folks out there like that. But I still feel like the VR community allows for that kind of movement. And I'm excited to see it get to the point where it's big enough to where things are more delineated and things are clearer and there's like more games and more titles and more communities and all of it.
Yeah.
I hope I get to play in some of it too. That'd be great.
Yeah.
well, don't go anywhere. I guess that's
Right.
real. Like, just don't go anywhere, because I'm sure there will be more events that you'll be invited to. But yeah, I mean, it's great, and I'm glad to see that there's just a difference in a game type coming out. And Grapple Tournament is kind of a good example of that, where it's breaking the kind of the, not the mold, but the rut that VR esports has even kind of gotten into, of mostly being FPS, right? You've got Echo and you've got other games in there, Final Assault and Snapshot, and arguably that's still an FPS. But things like Grapple Tournament and others in the future will pave a way for people to find, like Alex said, to find their home. Because we're so small, people don't know where their niche is yet, or their niche hasn't been created to their liking, and they haven't signed off on something and said, yes, I support this, this is my community, this is where I belong and where I will spend most of my time. And we were lucky with the VRML and the first few games that were added, that most of those communities were already established. They already pretty much knew each other and had been playing in lobbies with one another for so long. So organizing that and getting people to agree on things was a lot easier initially. But you go to other communities that are fresher, newer, a newer game, etc., and you start to get friction. You start to get new questions, or you get people who haven't been here, so they don't understand, and they might need something explained out to them a little bit more than your average user. So it comes with its problems, but overall, welcome all ye who enter the world of VR.
I love it. And like, I'm like sitting here imagining like your future. I mean, well, frankly, it's the present, but like the future where VR esports are taking place on stage, right? And like you're seeing the players.
The Olympics.
Yeah, or the Olympics. Yeah. Maybe, especially because like I'm imagining stuff like hand-to-hand combat, like maybe Thrill of the Fight 2's multiplayer will be really fucking good. And like a bunch of people will get in there and like there will be some scary mofos. Oh, it will. Thrill of the Fight 2 has multiplayer coming. So that's good. But, or Creed or whatever. But like, there's a couple of like hand-to-hand combat games that, in my opinion, aren't like good enough to be played truly competitively. But I imagine one's going to be coming pretty damn soon. And I'm like, imagine watching those two guys walk out on a stage, right? Like the two best fighters in VR. Like, there's no way they're not in great shape. Like I guarantee they're going to come out and be like,
you need cardio, man. You got to be able, like, you ever play, like, I'm sure people out there have played Thrill of the Fight, right? And you get a couple rounds in and you're sweating and you're tired and you're just like, oh my God, I can't do it anymore. It takes a lot of physical exhaustion. You're throwing punches, you're dodging, you're moving your body constantly. And that's great. Maybe we're going to get to a generation of video gamers that won't have that, you sit on the couch and play video games, thing built around them, right? I mean, it's going to be, you play video games, you must be in shape.
Right. You're a VR athlete.
Yeah.
Like, the champion of, like Counter-Strike or whatever looks a lot different than the champion of Thrill of the Fight 2, That's what I'm getting at. Like, you'll actually have an intimidating presence as a result of your ability in the thing that you compete, as opposed to like what we see now, just like some scrawny kid is like hands down the fucking best. He's like the murderer, and he's just like little guy, which is great. I'm glad he can do that. But it will be awesome to like just see like two titans walk out with VR headsets.
That would be great.
Yeah, meanwhile, Eric for president and gamertag walk out like,
dude,
oh my God.
I cannot wait to like get a couple of beers in both of them and like start the arm wrestling. Like, I want the VR YouTuber arm wrestling championship to go
to the top.
Yeah,
to the top.
Over the top.
Over the top. Over the top.
Over the top. Yeah. Yep. To the top is a great game. But yeah,
I'm going to spill something. This is a little something juicy. I say it's not that juicy. I have ideas. I've had plenty of ideas for games over the years. And an idea that I have had for a VR game, and I guess if you're a developer listening, you can feel free to take it if you want, would be an online arm wrestling game where you put your elbow on the table and your controller, you can rotate, right? So like you could get that like over the top like vibe and like there could be like maybe have a couple of cooldowns that you could hit with your button to like give you an advantage here or there, but you could like lock up with somebody across the table, put your elbow on an actual table, and do some of this stuff.
That'd be cool. Well,
so there you go,
maybe
developers. Arm wrestling in VR, it's coming, and I expect like at least a name in the credits or something.
If it's any good.
There you have it, folks.
Yep. So Sleepy, what do you think about stuff like this? This peripheral gun that people have been talking about this week. Like, are you stoked about this thing? Because when I got into VR, I played Firewall 0 Hour pretty much exclusively once I got it.
Great game.
The aim controller, in my opinion, is what makes it so goddamn good. Like, it is so comfortable in your hands. It works great. You get the dual analogs. You get all the buttons, like fully able to control my game. And it looks like this product that's coming out it's kind of almost like following in the footsteps of the aim controller a little bit. Am I right, Skiva?
Yeah, definitely. So, the aim controller came out, it was a huge hit, but it's PlayStation VR, it's optically tracked, and it drifts a lot and does this and that. Now, originally when Palmer Luckey was still running Oculus and they hadn't sold to Facebook yet, they were going to come out with a tracked gun. And once they sold to Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, he squashed that and was like, nope, not happening. We don't do guns. But then proceeded to go out and, create a million different murder simulations in VR, which doesn't make any sense. We can't have a plastic gun representing those fake guns. But, that guy's an idiot. But anyway, I am excited for this because this is huge. These guys made guns for VR arcades. And
right.
And now, the VR arcade market is hurting, unfortunately, because of this virus. It's really screwed up that industry. So companies like bHaptics and companies like this have to adapt or die, right? Mm-hmm. So they are shifting over to the consumer market, and they're using the funds that they made in the arcade industry and bringing this product over to consumers. So I'm stoked, man, because I feel like a tracked gun is severely needed.
And it has haptics too.
Yeah, it does.
Which the aim controller did not have.
Yep.
What do you think, Sleepy?
Yeah, so I mean, I actually just noticed the video on that from Nathy this morning when I was kind of scrolling through my morning news feeds, and I'm interested to see it. I'd have to try it to really give my opinion on it, because VRML, we've had a long-term sponsor of our league from ProTube VR, and they make some great stuff. It's really hard to beat their product. I know there's a lot of other companies out there, but the team over at ProTube has been great. Boren and the team, je t'aime beaucoup. They're hard to beat. But yes, I would be interested to try it to see how it actually works, how it feels in the hand, how it plays with most games, or if it's going to be locked to specific titles. But I do think it's great that these companies like bHaptics, with another sponsor of the VRML, and I know, Alex, I believe you work with them as their community manager, correct? So,
yep.
Keeping it all in-house here, baby. But, great product and another way of add immersion to this immersive experience that we have. But so I obviously I have my reservations on it, but I would definitely love to see it, love to try it, just to give it a heads up. But the more things that we can do to give that player that immersion experience, whether it be via tactiles or via peripherals that can translate into connection to the brain, and I think that's stuff that we need more of, and I think that's stuff that bHaptics and other products like it, and full body trackers and all this other stuff, this really cool things that are going on in the industry right now, and all this push and drive for progress is just, it's great, and I'm excited to see it. But let me out of here. Let's go to cons again. Let me go to events so I can try this stuff. You
make me want to flip my table right now. I cannot wait to go back to fucking convention.
I want to see these. Like, I want to see you guys. I want to talk to these shops and try this
arm
product.
wrestle GT and feel the power in my arms.
I don't want to have to beg someone to ship me some product overseas so that I can try it and say, yeah, this product's great. I want to be able to just try it at this show and then be able to say, I tried this. I know for a fact that this thing is great, and not have to say, please send me one. I'll do a review or anything, but I'll give you my support.
Yeah. I mean, that's huge. That's huge for VR because you can't tell someone or show someone on a flat screen what VR is like. You can't show them what these peripherals are like. But when you're at an expo or a convention and these people try this stuff and they have their minds melted and it changes their lives. And we gotta, man, I am very excited to get back to the expo life and the convention life.
Well, Sleepy, you made a great point when you talked about the gun and you were like talking about like what games it would work with and like if the game would need to be like specifically made for it. And that got me thinking, and it would be. You're 100% right. Like I personally am not a fan of gun stocks. I love everyone who makes them because I see that they're like, I understand why people like them and why it might make sense for someone to use it. So I admire and appreciate all the work that's done. But personally, in my experiences with them, they are far too cumbersome. Having to detach my controllers from this thing and then have it dangle awkwardly from my neck while I'm trying to do something else. Like maybe for Onward only, I could maybe see a gun stock making sense because like you're basically like committed to one gun. The couple of movements are kind of designed in a way where a gun stock would kind of make sense. But the reason why Firewall was so good is because it was designed next to the aim controller. Like they were made for each other. Mm-hmm. And you know, this controller, this peripheral, this haptic gun, you can't play Pop 1 with this thing. You need to be able to climb, right? Mm-hmm. Like you can't do so many VR games that require you to just like run and grab something real quick or like, you know, be able to pull a pin out of a grenade and use your hand separately, you know? That's why Solaris, when it came out, it was obvious that that was basically like they took Firewall and reskinned it and changed a few things and stuck it back out. That's why you couldn't fucking use your other hand because the model was based off of the aim controller where you don't get two hands.
Oh, I think of that.
Yep. So then they had to find a way to separate your hand within the code after it had already been set up for Firewall. You know.
Well, so then why did they release without squad support?
Well, I have no idea. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
But I guess so. Anyway,
next week on Between Realities.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But the point here is that you're right. It does need to be made for that game. And now that I'm thinking about it, what the fuck game can it possibly use that?
It just needs support. Right. So, you know, so it just like an aim controller, you don't need to use the aim controller in the games that it's supported in, but you can. And if you know what's good for you, you will, because most of those games are not good with just a DualShock.
But the ones that use that were designed for it, like
Correct.
Firewall and Farpoint.
But most of the guns that we have, though, I mean, most of the games that we have are designed around guns.
Right? Yes, but two hands, two individually tracked controllers.
This is true.
And
so
this is both hands connected to the same thing.
So it's going to be interesting to see how they pull this off, for sure.
Well, I think they'll ship it with compatible software, to Sleepy's point. Yeah. Like, you're not going to be able to pick it up and play your favorite game with that thing. It won't happen.
Maybe not.
The other problem I see with devices like that is because it does involve some sort of support, whether it be some type of dongle device to communicate haptic information between computer and, you know, peripheral, or whether it's some sort of SDK, API integration that needs to be done within a game's code. That's all things that aren't necessarily easy to do. Going to a game designer, game developer and saying, hey, we want you to take this game that you've got, you know, presumably working perfectly. You know, obviously there are always some bugs and little things that escape QA, but anyways, we want you to take that. We want you to inject this block of code for our thing, and you know, and hope that it work and make it work. Basically, because we want to be able to say, you know, we're supported on your product. And while many developers love the idea of this, a lot of them, you know, budgets are tight right now, and especially so with, you know, everything going on in the world with COVID and the restrictions that are going on, a lot of folks having to go remote. Budgets are restricting even more so. And these things take time to integrate, and a lot of times some teams don't have that time to justify to build out this support for these items, because, you know, I'm sure there are plenty of games out there that would love to be able to add in B-haptic support. This is just for example. I'm not saying that their stuff is hard to integrate or anything. You know, B-haptic support or CyberShoe support or any of these additional peripheral support, you know, they love the idea of doing it, but is it practical? Does it make sense for where they are in development? Does it make sense for where they are in their budget? Does it make sense for, you know, is their producer, you know, publisher, is there, you know,
is there enough, going to allow enough it to of be these done? Devices sold that it's worth the time for the few people that are going to use them?
And in the specific case of this fucking gun, honestly, I cannot think of a single game where I'm not going to need both of my hands that isn't PSVR aim controller designed. I can't. Like, I'm sitting, I was like trying to think about it. I'm like, holy shit, I need both of my hands in everything. Like,
I mean, most people would argue that any game that removes your ability to use both hands is not a worthy VR title, because you're essentially removing,
presence.
Yeah, you're removing that connection between your real body and that virtual body that you're supposed to be immersed in.
And I'd never had a problem with that in Firewall, and I never had a problem with that in Farpoint, which is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah,
here.
well, so certain games, I feel like you might be able to, if there's an analog stick on this controller. I mean, they do it kind of similar to PSVR. It's possible. Now there will be games that fit it definitely better than others.
What if you had to reach onto your sidearm?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do. Maybe it'll. I don't know. But it's up to these guys to figure it out,
right?
And to make this a thing, right? So let's see what they're really made of. Are they going to be able to pull this off?
Well, they obviously convinced someone, because somebody gave them $4 million to keep going.
Yeah, true.
So
true.
I'm guessing it's going to launch with a game, and I'm hoping that the game is good enough for them to convince people to spend $400 on a controller. Because now, after buying the Knuckles, I'm going to be fucking cautious about buying expensive ass controllers, because I am so disappointed with that shit. Like, those things suck so bad for the price that they are and for the promise that they deliver, like that they were offering.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Honestly, one of the biggest reasons why I have not ponied up and shelled out for an index is just all the horror stories between the cables and the controllers, mostly the controllers. But yeah, I mean, it's just like I want to own this device, but mostly, especially now as a QA tester and specialist for phaser lock, like I kind of need one to be able to do my job, make sure that we're putting out the best product for all the best headsets, effectively. But I can't justify spending $1,000 on something that I'm going to have to deal with the headache of replacing a controller every other 6 months or every year or whatever.
You're out. You don't have your controller for the 3 weeks or whatever it takes for you to mail it back, them to send you a new one. Shit like that. When you put out a product for a premium price like the Index, if my controller breaks, you send me the controller. I'll put the broken one in the box and send it back to you. This isn't an Oculus Quest 2 that I got for $299 and fucking deal with it. This is $1,000 premium headset that was made to be the best. And they're not supporting it like it is, and it's too bad.
And and it's not like they give you your money back while you don't have the headset. Right. You still fucking paid for it.
Yeah, and I've been through 5 RMAs with them, so I know.
That's insane. Soul Fox Gaming in the house, he uses the Index controllers for like everything, and he's an insanely good gamer.
He's pretty good.
So Sleepy, what do you think is like the most competitive controller? Because when I'm going into something that I know I need to be good at, I actually will avoid my Knuckles if possible, because the grabbing, like my hands get sweaty and then I can't fucking grab anything, and it's an absolute nightmare. So sometimes I'll go to the Vive controllers, but they're way too heavy. There's not enough buttons. So then I'll try Quest with Link, but that connection's not as good as my Vive Pro. So I kind of have this fucking circle of fuckery that I go around, and I can never really find the comfortable setup. So what is it? What is the competitive setup for you?
Well, so you've really put me in a spot here, boy. As a member of a competitive community, you're going to ask me the most competitive controller. So this is going to be completely my opinion. So full disclaimer up front.
VRML says this is the best controller.
No, so for me and for what I have always played and the games that I've used, the Oculus touch controllers have always been the best. For any sort of shooting game, the pistol grip style grip makes it the most relatable to a weapon of any controller that's out there. Yes, it's limited. It doesn't have as many budgets or buttons or gadgets or different things that it can do in comparison to Vive ones or Index controllers, etc., or even the Windows mixed reality controllers, which are arguably not great controllers anyways, because of all the different input methods that they gave you for some reason. Anyways, yeah, so I mean, as far as use goes, I don't think you could really beat those touch controllers right now. And to me, the original CV1s are probably the best. They did a good job, I
Agreed.
think, with the Quest 2 getting close to the CV1 controllers.
Yep.
But that little arc that they added into the Quest 2 controllers threw it off just a little bit for me. So, but overall, I think the Quest, the Rift touch controllers are the best. I know a lot of folks would argue with me, just based off of performance that they've gotten with Vive controllers, and I'm not discounting those. I've actually never had the opportunity to use Vive controllers outside of a few demos. So as far as playing the same games that I love to play and comparatively testing them against each other, I've not been able to do that. So I won't really make that apples to apples comparison because I can't, and I don't want to be any voice of opinion on that. But I have been happy with all my Oculus products, controllers wise, as far as their feel in game and being useful. I don't think they're too heavy. The weight's balanced pretty well. The only thing I've really found the weight isn't balanced accurately for is that new side quest thing, paradiddle, the drumming thing, and that's just because as a drummer, you're gonna want it. It's also due to hit detection, and it just there's a lot of things you got to do to mimic a drum.
That backwards feedback.
No balance,
that's the biggest.
No rebound.
That's hard. That is hard for sure. This is a good segue into, since we're talking about Oculus stuff anyway. Did you know, Alex, because I know this was your most requested feature, that we have. We're going to have real soon here, if not right now.
Some people already have it.
Yeah, the ability to have separate users on your Quest. So you can log off, log in as a different user, have a full, the full library with game sharing where they can play the games, have their own progress, blah, 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 blah. So this is a big deal. This is huge. This is the most, I think from what I've seen online, it's the most requested feature that the Quest has.
Biggest quality of life improvement, in my opinion, by far. Especially for anyone who works within a developer. With the recent changes they made to having to have Facebook accounts tied to it, that's caused a lot of developers to have to shift the way that they do things because dev accounts now have to change to these and this and that. Like there's this whole process behind it. And for a lot, I know a lot of studios were like, this is confusing, what's going on? And Oculus did a great job with, using their dev partnership people to chat and make sure that everyone understood the process. But this, I think, is the biggest improvement because like for myself and my partner up until recently would have to share a headset, and I don't want to have to, control where she is within a storyline. I want her to have that. And, some games solve that by having a save file things, but in most games, you just pick up where the last session left off. And I, want to take away from her experience or seeing a specific portion of a storyline because there's no separate account. So I think this is a great step. I mean, obviously, we still have things that we wish would be improved upon within the headset, within the Oculus platform or environment in general. But I think they are making effective efforts to try. Sure, they're going to make some missteps along the way, and I'm sure a lot of people will flame me for kind of sticking up for them to a certain degree. But, without their continued investment into the space, there would be a lack of progress, a lack of momentum, in my opinion.
This is true. The
index did good to bump us forward a little bit, and I think the G2 drove a little bit of hype, even though it kind of fell flat overall.
It did fall flat.
Yeah.
But the Quest 2 and Oculus is pushing, and Facebook's involvement and push to it is honestly, it's been driving the industry, and whether you like them or not, there it is. Like,
well, there's no secret here that I am personally not a fan of Mark Zuckerberg or Facebook, but they have driven this community further than it could have been without them, right? It's just too bad that they're kind of shitting on everyone as they go, but for real, like they have pushed the progress of this industry so far and so fast, especially with the Quest. And they dabbled in all of these things until they found the secret sauce, and they found what people wanted. And now they're moving towards it. And they are good at listening to the feedback. And, these things take time to do. This is a new platform, but they are doing a good job at adding the features that people are really, really, that they're excited about. I mean, they've really implemented almost everything that people have really requested.
Yeah, and that is good. Like for me, it's about being able to use both of my Quests the way I want to.
Yeah.
Like I have a Quest 1 and a Quest 2 where I am the owner of both of them, but I want to be able to play Beat Saber with my partner and be able to log in as me on either headset. So that's impossible unless we do this, but now I'm going to have to pick up another copy of Beat Saber if I want to pull this off. Here's the thing, though. This is a little thing for Beat Saber players out there. Yesterday, or the day before, one of the two, a couple days ago perhaps, I installed the Beat Together mod for my PC version and for my Oculus Quest version, which is a modded like server connector, and I played with her on my 5 Pro, cross-platform with her on the Oculus downstairs.
So this mod enables cross-platform Beat Saber multiplayer.
Yep.
Wow. Oh, wow. Now, if they could also implement voice chat,
this is
thank
you. This is where I was going with the conversation. So now I have to decide, okay, is voice chat worth $30? You know, like, because that's the only thing I'm missing is that we don't get to jump into an Oculus party if I'm on my PC upstairs.
The 6 times you get to hang out with John Carmack, would you have paid $30 to talk to him all those times? Because fucking I would.
Well, yeah, but I can talk to my fiance by going downstairs.
Correct. But if Beat Saber had voice chat, I know I'd have played. I haven't even played the multiplayer. Because if I can't talk to anyone, it's not multiplayer to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah.
So, I mean, I probably will end up buying it, which of course is going to suck because then I'm also going to need to buy all the fucking song packs again on another account. It's like, you motherfuckers.
I know. You know, the cross-platform thing with Beat Saber is a bummer because not only do you have to rebuy the game on PC VR for Oculus, Steam VR, for Quest, for PlayStation VR, but they don't even give you your song packs in between. So you have to rebuy the song packs on every platform that you want. It's like, come on, Oculus. You own this studio. Let me have my song packs. At least I'll buy the title again. Let me just have the song packs I purchased from Quest to PC. So I don't have to fucking deal with
But
this.
I have it on Steam for PC, so that's not going to fucking happen.
Jeez.
Because I have the HTC Vive. So anyway, I'm in a weird spot right now. I'm excited that this is happening, but it happened immediately after me saying, finally, whatever, screw you guys, I'm going to get my own solution. And I did, and it actually worked pretty damn well. So I'm kind of like, am I going to end up spending the 30, 40, 50, 60, like $70 that it's going to end up costing me to get Beat Saber, you know, and add the multiplayer, the voice chat, the Oculus voice chat? That's the only thing I'm missing.
And then the other thing is too that, you know, it's going to be a constantly evolving thing as Facebook puts out new builds. I'm sure they're going to try to break whatever mods there are. You're going to have to, you know, update it. You're going to hop into it. Oh, it doesn't work right now. There was an update, blah, 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 blah.
So I'm going to is I guess what we're coming to the conclusion here is I'm going to end up fucking spending another $60 to $70 on Beat Saber as a result of this.
Beat Saber's kind of like VR crack, isn't it? Is. Like you just keep buying it and buying it and buying it.
For me, it's like it's a primary form of exercise. Like I can get in there and go hard and love every second of it, and I want to share that with my partner. So I'm probably going to end up doing it. And so I guess thanks and no thanks. Facebook. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a few. That's always been one of the things, along with just I've never really understood the hype behind Beat Saber, I guess, other than maybe just the DDR connection for a lot of people. The fact that it was like rebuy it here, rebuy it here, rebuy it here. I was like, I can't get behind that. Like, especially for what Beat Saber is. I mean, if you break it down, you're just cutting blocks to music for a score. I mean, to me, that's not exhilarating. I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoy Beat Saber and I have a blast doing dance routines and, like Alex said, working out. But it's never been the game that hooked me. Like I see it get its hooks into so many of the the community out there. And I'm not, dissing any of those people. Everyone finds their niche, finds their home, like Alex said earlier, and that's great. And welcome to your home, welcome to the VR community if you're new. If you're not, I'm so glad to see that there's a community out there that's as passionate as an esports community, even if it's not competitive based, even if it's just purely freedom based, the freedom to have your own mods and your own songs and your own maps and skins for your sabers, etc. Like, I can support that because I think that sort of thing and the music packs, I kind of saw it coming, I guess, especially after the buyout. But
yeah, for sure.
And I'll just speak quickly from the perspective of someone who did get bit by that Beat Saber bug. It really just boils down to expression. Like, the high score is cool, like being good at the game, cool, right? Getting like beating a higher score than your friends, whatever. But it is 100% boils down to expression. Like the reason why I need the new song pack isn't so I can set a new high score on that song because I'm good at that song. It's because where the blocks are in that pattern feel fucking good. Like it feels good. Like there is so much expression in the movement. It's kind of like there are some people out there who would never go out to a club at night and go dancing, you know, but there are some others who that is what they live for. Like they go like they get to express themselves. Same thing here. Like Beat Saber is like dancing at the club for those people who love that expression
with lightsabers.
Yeah, it's just sick. It's fucking sick. It's so dope. And it feels amazing. You feel like you are just like
Club Death
shredding. Yeah, just like ripping through everything. And then there's a drop and you're down there with it. Oh, it's so good. It's everything. I love it. I'm gonna end up buying it again and I'm pissed.
You heard it here, folks. Beat Saber is a must buy. Nobody knew, but it's a hidden gem.
Rendered Reality. What's up, dude? What's up,
Get
Sean?
out of town.
I know.
Rendered Reality's here. What's up?
We love Rendered Reality.
Yeah, coffee and VR is amazing. And shout out to Sean. You know, he's been going through some tough times, man. And I've gone through some of those similar times, so I can really feel what he's going through. So
yeah. Trip Nip is here also. Thanks for stopping in, Trip Nip. See Quick
Hello,
is
Caster.
here. Yeah, Mepper also cruised in before things got wrapped up here to tune into the final moments of our show here. I'm starting to get close to the end.
Yeah, we are close. What do you think there, Sleepy? Is there anything that you are dying to get into? Anything that we haven't talked about or mentioned that you think you want to throw this way?
No
pressure.
Yeah, I can't think of anything, but if I were to be like giving my like final minutes, if you will, I just want to thank everybody out there who's not only supported myself as an individual, but supported the VRML, supported Phaserlock, the studio that I now work for, supported any of the organizations that I've worked for, any of the organizations who are out there doing something to engage our community. I think a lot of people don't realize the amount of time and effort that's going into these things behind the scenes. And not just specifically speaking for VRML, I'm just saying it as a whole. And Skiva, I know you know this now a lot since you organized that grapple tournament event. But there's a lot of things that go on, and a lot of people who are doing this stuff in addition to what they do in their regular lives. You know, a lot of folks are still going to work every day, logged into their PCs, etc., doing their normal 9-to-5 job, and then doing the, you know, what's required of them to keep a community going, to keep to keep things progressing. And a lot of that goes unnoticed. Oftentimes it goes ridiculed, depending on, you know, what server, what community you might be in, or you know, those opinions and perceptions are oftentimes based in a lack of information. But anyways, I just want to say thanks to all of those people. Of course, thanks to any of the sponsors, specifically recently HyperX. They've recently come on with us to help us support a few of our leagues. The whole reason my audio has been sounding so clear in this chat is because I'm on HyperX equipment now. They've been doing great to support us. Vince Kwan is the guy I've been dealing with over there. He's fantastic. He's been really receptive and responsive to everything that we've done. He was very helpful in getting us some prizes for that Final Assault charity event. So very thankful to him. And realistically, all of our sponsors, you know, Pro2, B Haptics. I know that one will go a long way for Alex and his ties to them. Yeah, and I mean, I guess more than anything, I miss all of you. I really do. So I can't wait till we can all get together again, because I'm so sick and tired of being stuck in this house.
I think we all are, buddy. But can you imagine this quarantine time without virtual reality?
No.
Yeah, I feel like I cheated through this quarantine, because people are like, oh my God, I haven't seen anyone. I'm like, well, you obviously don't have VR, because I see people every single day. I see them standing there in front of me. I talk to them. I see hand gestures. I see all this stuff. I play games with them. Like VR has been the savior of this quarantine for me. I mean, I guess I'm in that bubble. I know how awesome VR is.
Yeah. And the ball was already rolling before the quarantine hit.
Right.
It's not like it was in response to the quarantine.
Right,
we were already living the life.
Right.
And then everyone else is flipping the fuck out. And we're like, what?
Oh, what happened?
I got a bunch of free time now.
What's going on out there? What's going on out there in the real world?
I honestly feel bad for benefiting so much from the fucking pandemic. But really, the last year just like helped to push everything in VR. And, I was able to free up, get so much more time to do shit like this. And, I'm thankful for VR during all of this stuff as well. And I'm thankful to Brad Sl33py Atkins for joining us today on this fucking episode of Between Realities, man. Thank you so much. We are huge fans of you, of the companies that you work for and represent, and of anything future that you are planning. I can already tell.
Thank you for everything you do and for how much support and love you put into this community. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Of course, dude. Say goodbye to Sl33py, everybody.
See you later, everybody.
Bye,
Sl33py.
That was fun. What a great guest.
Yes.
We're so lucky. We're so lucky to come on every week and talk to awesome people.
We really are.
Yeah.
We are lucky to have the guests that we do. We're lucky to have this amazing audience that we have with Venchi, who's is that Vench Double E, Vench EE? I don't know what's up, dude, but thanks for being here. Sean from Mental Reality, Triple Nipple, Mr. Trinidad, Aspen Darkfire, German Rifter, Mepper, Quicks, Soul Fox Gaming, Onikaze, Future, Lyriel. Thank you guys all so much. Tones My Bones.
Love you guys.
We love you guys. We're gonna keep doing the show, I think. We'll probably
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, we'll probably do another episode a week from today.
Yeah, if we feel like it, maybe.
And tell us who we can expect.
Maybe if we feel like it, we'll have James Jensen of Jump VR. So this guy has taken skydiving to a whole new virtual level, and he has come out with a way to simulate all of skydiving, and it's just so cool, man. Check out this company, Jump VR. Really, really cool stuff. And we're going to talk to this guy next week.
We'll figure out how the hell this works, because I've already got questions.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a good time.
It is going to be a good time. Thank you guys so much. Like, subscribe, fucking comment, share this shit with your friends or something, because we are ready for a larger audience. So let's fucking get it. Until next week, everyone. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.
Bye.